My banner is back. Travis Thomas here with the walking, talking, triple-double producer extraordinaire, Ante Campbell. Tay, what it do, baby?
What's up, 2Ts? Hey, I got to ask you real quick. Have you seen that LeBron Lobos commercial that he put out this weekend,
No.
bro?
Tell me. Tell me everything.
It was like LeBron has mastered being funny, corny. You know how he's extremely corny, but
Yeah.
he's also kind of funny because he's an old head?
Right.
He's mastered it. So during this commercial, he does the whole James Bond thing. He's with Victoria Justice. You know who that is?
No.
She's like a famous Nickelodeon child star or whatever.
All right.
And she has a lot of stuff that she's done now as an adult as well. But she was in the commercial sitting across a poker board from him. They're playing a game of poker, and he's doing like a James Bond type of thing. He's like, the name is James.
Oh, come on.
LeBron James.
Oh, I got to see it.
And then the waiter comes over, and he does like one of his handshakes.
Oh, my God.
And it's just classic LeBron humor, bro. It's hilarious. I remember the first time I watched him act, I thought he was horrible, but he's gotten so much better now.
Well, he's in L.A.
Yeah.
He's running L.A. I'm sure he has acting coaches and the whole nine. Now, I will say this, because, obviously, I grew up during the Jordan era. Jordan had great commercials, right? The Hanes, Gatorade, Nike, the whole deal. But I'll give LeBron credit. LeBron has some great commercials under his belt as well. We're always comparing who's the GOAT, who's this, who's that.
Yeah.
I think LeBron's giving Mike a run for his money in terms of commercials. I have to see this new one you're telling me about because it sounds funny as hell. But my favorite LeBron commercial. Do you remember the Nike commercial where he jumped from the diving board, and he played like all the characters in that?
Yes, bro.
That is the greatest. That's one of my favorite commercials ever, Ante. Yeah. I love that commercial so much. My kids have grown up watching it now on YouTube. I play it all the time, and they laugh. I mean, LeBron's fantastic at that. But Tay, Mike got him with Space Jam because LeBron's.
Hey, we don't need to talk about LeBron's Space Jam, bro. It was terrible. We all know.
LeBron's Space Jam. We could do the whole podcast on how awful that is. We could do top 10 worst moments in LeBron's Space Jam. That's how many bad moments there were, Ante.
Yeah, that one and his house party was awful as well.
Oh, I didn't see that. Thank God I didn't.
Hey, don't waste your time.
He just produced that, though, right? Was he in that?
He was in it. The party was at his house.
Oh.
And then he played one-on-one with this dude, basically for them to not call the cops.
Why did you watch that?
Dude, it was all over the internet. I had to see what it was like. I had to. It was almost a hate watch, you know what I mean? Because I love House Party, Right. I used to have the high top kid play, you know what I'm saying? So I love House Party, but yeah, it was terrible.
Hold on, before we let you go, did you say you had the high top kid play? You did?
Yes.
Do we have pictures, photographic evidence of this that we could play on the next Hold My Banner?
That I want to show?
Yeah, well, I mean, Mom, could we get involved, please? Can you send us some pictures so we can make fun of your son, please, out of love?
I'll see what I can find.
Okay, thank you. We'll bring Ante back later. He's going to play a game with me that I'm sure I'm awful at. That's what he does, and then he makes fun of me for it. And we love him for it. Thank you, Tay. I want to start with the Celtics schedule again because on the last Hold My Banner, we talked about how we were looking forward to some of those marquee box office big matchups. But like any great album, there are deep cuts as well. We want to get into those today. So first, let's recap. The last banner we told you, of course, season opener against the Knicks, banner night. We're all fired up for that. Then we also told you the NBA in-season tournament favors the Celtics out of the gate, of course. Wizards, Hawks, Bulls. We all know how that's going to end. We talked about Christmas Day. We all know that's a big one. 76ers here at TD Garden. Plus, you get a pair of NBA Finals rematches with the Mavericks in January and February. So that's where we left off. But those were just the highlights. Now, I dug deep into this. I'm looking at schedule as we speak. And the first thing that comes to my mind here is that term we've all talked about, championship hangover, right? You always hear that after every championship team. It doesn't matter if it's the NBA, the NFL, NHL, MLB, you always hear after a team wins the title, well, in that next season, will they have the championship hangover? I bring that up because I'm looking at the beginning of this schedule for the Celtics, as I sat down, I really combed through it. I actually think we're going to find out very early whether or not this team has that championship hangover or not. I mean, we know they open against the Knicks, but they do close out the month against both. This jumped out to me. The Bucks and the Pacers. Now, I know the Bucks, everyone's anticipating them being healthy. Giannis and Dame finally both healthy. Will this work? You know, they improved a little bit in the offseason. Doc now has a full offseason with this team. So the expectations are there for the Bucks. But I'm hearing, even around the offices here at Nesson, a lot of people are sleeping on the Pacers. In fact, our esteemed producer, who we just talked to, Ante Campbell, said the words to me, quote, "I am snoring on the Pacers," end quote. And I get why. There's nothing sexy about this Pacers team. But, I mean, look, we can make excuses of why they were in the Eastern Conference Finals with injuries and this and that, and I do get that. I did not believe in this team last season at all, but I left the Eastern Conference Finals impressed with the Pacers. And I feel as though because they're a younger team, Halliburton, Nembhard, I mean, even Pascal Siakam to a certain extent, even though he's a veteran in the league, it's not like he's an old man. I think this Pacers team, well coached by Carlisle, I think they're going to be right there again. And I actually believe because of all that playoff experience they gained, going as deep as they did with no expectations on them not having expectations this season is probably a good thing for them. I think it bodes well. So you close out that first month of the season. Again, open with the Knicks, banner night, hype, opening night, the whole deal. You know the Knicks have improved. And then you close out the month against the Bucks and the Pacers. Right after that, in early November, the Warriors come to town at TD Garden. Now, before I go any further with this schedule, let's just stay here with the Warriors for a second. It's not a real rivalry. We don't hate them. You know, Steph ripped our heart out, but we appreciate the greatness of Steph Curry. There's no animus towards the Bay Area or anything like that. However, I am asking you, public service announcement, can we please all, in unison, boo the hell out of Steve Kerr to start the game? Can we just do that? It doesn't have to last the whole game. It doesn't. But here's why. Let us not forget what he did to Jason Tatum in Paris. I ain't forgot. Okay, Steve, we appreciate the gold. No hate. No hate here. Steve, we appreciate the gold. But what you did to Jason Tatum, the disrespect that you showed to Jason Tatum throughout the Olympics, there must be retribution. We must boo the hell out of Steve Kerr just when they announce him to start the game. That's it. Other than that, we'll just play a basketball game. Okay, back to the schedule. Thank you. Now, so that's early November. Then you start that stupid in-season tournament thing we talked about, and then you end the month with the Timberwolves. Okay. So you see here, it's like, all right, we're getting in the meat of it a little bit. That Timberwolves game could be an NBA Finals preview. We'll see. Then you end the year in December with 9 home games. That's great, including that Christmas Day game we have talked about with the Sixers. This is also, it should be noted before I go on, this is the sort of the timeline of when Kristaps Porzingis should be working his way back into your lineup. Knock on wood for that, because we know how it goes with him. My guess is, let's stop here as now the end of the year is here. My guess is, by the time we get to the end of December, Porzingis should be back, knock on wood, and we'll know after the first few months of the season now if the championship hangover is real for the Celtics on one hand, and then on the other hand, are they cured? Because look, you got a couple months. I just ran through the schedule here. I mean, it's no joke right out of the gate for the first few months of this. Outside of that in-season tournament, which the teams you start against are easy, but of course we know as you advance, it gets tougher, right? So I think we'll know whether or not this team has a championship hangover or if it's even cured. Now, let's stay here for a second with this championship hangover thing, because I, as I told you, am an expert at hangovers. In fact, my son, just yesterday, had his 7th birthday. We threw him a party. And you would have thought with him turning 7, I turned 21 because I was celebrating that hard. So I'm dealing with a hangover as we speak. I know all about it. I don't know about a championship hangover, but I know a real one. Now, let's look at the last few championship teams. And I didn't go back that far because, honestly, it could go back a long ways. But I didn't want to bore you. So I just stuck with the last few championship teams since the Lakers won the bubble title that none of you give them credit for anyways. So I figured let's start there and then work our way up. And I was shocked to see how many championship hangovers there were since then. As I went further back, I was even more shocked. But let's just stay close to it here. So the Lakers win that championship in the bubble that no one cares about. They went on to lose in the first round the following season, okay? All right. You say, well, it's a bubble title anyway. Who cares? It was Fugazi, right? Cool. That same season, when the Lakers got bounced in that first round, the Bucks won that title that season. Following year, they lost in the second round. Well, I mean, look, I was even guilty of it. Giannis finally got a ring, established himself as, remember when he did the crown thing to LeBron and all that? He finally had arrived, won the title, great story. He's a monster. I'm like, man, the Bucks are going to get a couple. Even if they don't repeat, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, the following season, after that title, bounced. Second round. Okay. That's the year we'll all remember because the Warriors ripped our hearts out, beat the Celtics in the finals. But that following year, they lost in the second round. And we know the Warriors, even though in the back end of that dynasty, we knew that team, that franchise, Steph, that greatness, was capable of repeating or rattling off a couple titles in a 3 or 4 year pattern. So what you're seeing here since the bubble is a pattern. Championship team, generally, last few of them would lose in the second round the following season. Now, one advantage I'll give the Celtics over all these teams, including the Nuggets, which, by the way, very similar in terms of build to the Celtics. Nuggets won their title. I definitely was the one saying this is a new dynasty. I predicted Celtics Nuggets in this past finals. We got Celtics Mavericks. But that team won the title and got bounced in the second round the following season as well, which we remember last season. So one advantage I will say, even though the Celtics and Nuggets are very similar, I'm going to predict again that we're going to get a Celtics-Nuggets NBA Finals this season. And my thought process of the difference between the Celtics and the Nuggets is the Celtics had such a long road, painful road, to finally getting that championship, including the finals loss to the Warriors that I brought up, that I just have a hard time believing that the championship hangover is going to be there for this team and they're going to lose in the first or second round. I just have a hard time. First of all, yes, the East is better, but I still feel as though the Celtics are a cut above everyone in the East in terms of class. I just think they can outclass every team in the Eastern Conference. Not to say they won't be tested this time around. Not to say we may get a 7-game series in the East postseason. We don't really know yet. But I still believe the Celtics, as of now, are a cut above all those teams. So you couple that with the fact that they've gone through all the heartbreak. They've gone through that long road to get to their first title. I actually see this more as the Celtics being like the Warriors in their prime, when the Warriors were able, not in style of play, not in Steph and all that, just in the sense that they're going to rattle off some more championships here because of the road they took. The Nuggets didn't have that same road. Bubble LeBron didn't have that same road. A lot of these teams. So I think the Celtics are loading for a repeat championship this season. After that, we'll see. But I don't believe they'll have a championship hangover. Too many things have transcribed in the offseason, too. The Jaylen Brown drama, he's got to be ticked off. Jason Tatum going to the Olympics. Yeah, he got a gold, but he can't feel great about his contributions to it. He should be ticked off. Porzingis coming back into the fold around December. As I said, when this championship hangover really reeks on a team, if you can get Porzingis back during that time, during that meat of that schedule towards the back end of this calendar year, I think that'll help. Joe Mazzulla, I mean, let's give him some credit. I was so critical of him all season, and then as we got into the postseason, I thought he did a really good job, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to, but I had to give him some props there, begrudgingly. I had to give him props. So I'm assuming Mazzulla comes back better, not as green, having these guys prepared. No championship hangovers in my locker room, not on my watch, from Joe Mazzulla. So I'm going to imagine this team will be in good shape. We'll find out soon in that schedule. We'll find out within those first few months. My prediction is they'll be just fine, and they will start this championship run. I think they do repeat as champs. Now, it should be noted, as I go back to the schedule here, the schedule makers did take care of the Celtics in that last month of the regular season before the playoffs begin. I'm looking here, you play the Heat and the Suns, who I think most of us will acknowledge they aren't scrubs, but they certainly aren't living up to the hype of their brands right now, right? Heat, you always talk about Heat culture, and the Suns have all these stars. Neither one of these teams concern any of us, I'm sure. Not at this current moment. Then you end your regular season. Listen to this. 3 out of your last 5 games of the regular season, you end against a combination of the Wizards and the Hornets. Thank you, basketball gods. I mean, this entire schedule is pretty tough, but you end it with a soft landing. If you're a champion, what more can you ask for? Not only does that help you, with seeding, chasing whatever seeding the C's end up with in the Eastern Conference. We've talked about this on this show before. They don't necessarily have to be the 1 seed in the East. We all want that. But I'm sure all of us feel confident if there are 2 or 3 in the East. That's okay. But having that sort of soft landing that last month of the regular season can only help. It can help seeding. It can help ensure that you're healthy going into the postseason, which I thought they did a tremendous job of last season during that championship run. Now, Porzingis got hurt, but it wasn't because the Celtics ran him into the ground. He was as healthy as you're going to be. He got hurt because he gets hurt. But Tatum, Brown, all those guys were fresh. That's what you want going into the postseason. And we obviously saw the results of that. So if you can have that again, now it was different circumstances. Last season, the Celtics ran away with everything. I mean, they lapped everybody in the Eastern Conference. And that's why they had the 1 seed locked up. They could rest guys. It made sense. Put guys on minutes restrictions, whatever. Even if you don't have that now, this season, let's say, hey, they are a 2 or a 3 seed. Still, even with that back end, that soft landing of that schedule, I think the Celtics can make sure guys get healthy with the bumps and the bruises. So I like that. By the way, the month before the last month of the regular season, the C's will be coming off 11 out of their 15 games against tough Western Conference teams. I mean, they're going to need that easy schedule at the end to lick their wounds. That last month of the regular season is exactly what the doctor ordered for them. So, again, just a review here. I want it on wax. I want it on record. I am betting, literally, put my money where my mouth is. I am betting on a repeat title performance this season from the Celtics. I do not believe they will have a championship hangover, and if they do, it'll be short-lived. I think banner 19 is loading. All right, let's bring them back. Ante Campbell, who always picks apart my opening rant, and then we'll play a game that I'm sure to stink at. What do you think, Tay?
Honestly, I don't have much to say about your opening rant today. It was a good one. My only thing is I'm not that big on the Nuggets, honestly. And I know we're going to have a Nuggets preview coming up soon, so I won't spoil too much of what I think about that team.
All right.
But I'm not ready to peg them as the Western Conference champions just yet.
So you're looking at Timberwolves, Thunder.
Yeah, I'm in that range. I'm in that range.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't argue. I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue that Anthony Edwards is eventually, we know, he's going to find his way to the finals.
Right.
And he's probably he's good enough, and his temperament and his mentality, his demeanor feels to me he's at least going to get one ring at some point in this era, if not more. So I get that. The Thunder were the youngest one seed in the history of the NBA last year. I don't think people talk about that enough. Yeah. That is a tremendous accomplishment. They gained so much valuable playoff experience that much in the same way I kind of brought this up with the Pacers, I could see the Thunder, getting that experience and using it to sort of get them over the hump as well. Obviously, you have the Mavericks. Now you add Klay Thompson. I mean, there are teams in the West that I get where you're coming from. I think I just keep going back to Jokic.
Yep.
And, Jamal Murray without Jokic does not look like the same player. But with Jokic, he is an absolute problem. They're well coached. They are not as deep as their championship team. But I'm having a hard time kind of writing them off. I'm putting them in that same bucket as the Thunder, as the Mavericks, as the Timberwolves, and I just think people are paying more attention to those other teams. Meanwhile, I'm still kind of locked in on the Nuggets. That's all.
Yeah, and then you obviously can't forget about the Dallas Mavericks. I think last year was a good opportunity for them, but they're going to be a team that competes. I don't know if they get back, to the finals, but they might be a team that could take out the Nuggets early in a playoff situation. So you just never know. Also, just looking out east as well, yeah, the hangover thing. The Celtics can be as drunk as they want to be. I'm gonna just tell you that right now, because I'm not worried about anybody in the East, and I understand that anybody. And I understand that you say, hey, blah blah blah, the East got better. I don't see it. The Knicks got better. Yeah. They got better. The Bucks are bringing back the same team. Cleveland's bringing back the same team. Orlando's bringing back the same team. Indiana's bringing back the same team. The 76ers, none of these dudes have even played with each other. Like I said, they only had 2 dudes on the roster to enter this offseason. Joel Embiid and B-Ball Paul Reed. And they re-signed Tyrese Maxey. So 3 guys, right? And a bunch of these dudes are new. We have no idea how they're going to play together, right? It's a talented roster, no question about that. But we've seen a ton of talented rosters,
right,
in the NBA's recent history that have came together and did not play well within their first year or their second year.
Right.
So I have no idea what they're going to be like. Miami's old. Chicago and Atlanta suck. That's the playoff teams from last year.
Right.
So I'm 100% with you. The Celtics are obviously going to make it. Hangover or not, I don't really care. They're going to be the best team in the East because the East still sucks.
Tell us how you really feel, Tay.
The East still sucks. Let's just be honest. All right.
So they can be as drunk as they want.
They can be as drunk as they want. But all right, let's play a game. It's been a while since you've played this game. We're going to play Win in 7. This is where you get the opportunity to ask me 7 questions.
It's just a silhouette thing.
And you get the silhouette after the 7th question, and you can guess the player that I am thinking of, Travis. I gave you a little break, all right?
Did you?
Yes, you don't like this game.
I hate it. I hate this game.
It's a tough brain challenge for you. Yeah. But, it's fun trivia. So let's see if you can name the player.
You just like watching me struggle. I get it.
I do. I do.
All right. All right. I always ask this. Yep. Is this a current or former player in this league?
This is a former NBA player.
Oh, God, that's always harder.
This is a former NBA player.
Okay, so former NBA player.
Yep.
All right. For his, I guess, last team, was he on a Eastern or Western Conference team?
For the last team?
His last team.
It was an Eastern Conference team.
His last team was an Eastern Conference team.
Yes.
Did he spend predominant? Was he? I never know how to ask this question. Like, was this player a journeyman, or did they spend the majority of their time on one particular team?
Yes, I would say this player is a journeyman.
Okay,
but they do have a team that they were predominantly with.
Okay, well, that's not an answer at all.
Well,
all
no,
right.
they are journeymen.
They're journeymen.
They're
but
journeymen. They're
okay,
journeymen.
They're journeymen. All
Yes.
right.
That was question number 3.
Oh, damn it. All right. I thought you were giving me a 2-for-1 there. All right. Big man, wing, or guard?
Big man.
Okay, former player, journeyman, big man.
Yep.
I'm getting nothing. All right. Go to your internet box there and give me the stat line from this player's last. Or you know what? Give me the stat line for their career.
Okay, career stat line?
Yeah.
I can give you their career stat line.
Yeah, career stat line.
That's a good question. 23.7 points.
Oh, wow.
10.9 rebounds.
Oh, wow.
And 2.5 assists. Career blocks.
Okay, this is a really good player.
Career blocks, 2.3 blocks. That was question number 5.
This is a good player.
Yes.
Okay. Former big man, 23 points per game, 11 boards, 2 blocks. You've gone, no, he didn't average that. How many questions do I have left?
You have 2 more questions before you get the silhouette.
Has this player won a championship?
This player has won a championship, yes.
Okay, so he's a title. Just one? Don't count that as a question.
He's won multiple.
He's won multiple titles.
Multiple titles.
Ah! All right, 24 points per game, 11 boards, multiple title journeyman?
Yes.
What? All right. I got one more, right?
Yep, one more question.
Man.
You're asking a lot of great questions.
I know, but it's not helping me. And you know what? Ticks me off. Rant before my last question. That G-damn silhouette never helps me.
Oh, man.
I think it helped me one time. Paul George had uneven shoulders. Remember that? It's one of the funniest moments in this show's history.
Yeah, this guy kind of has uneven shoulders, too. I can't lie.
Okay, big man, multiple champion. I don't remember which conference. I think we said East.
Yes, the last team he played for was in the Eastern
This
Conference.
has to, bro, like the only Eastern Conference teams. Oh, he's former, though. Damn it. So there's no telling. Mm-hmm. I'm just going through the Eastern Conference championship teams in my head.
Yep.
Bron certainly didn't have any help like that in Cleveland.
No.
Miami, okay. I got one more for you.
Yes. The team that he played for last, he didn't win the championship. I'll give you that. The team that he played for that was in the Eastern Conference, he did not win the NBA championship.
Oh, okay. Question.
Yes.
This will be my last question then.
Yes.
Follow up to the title question.
Yes.
Did he win a title on a Western Conference team?
He did win a title on both an Eastern Conference team and a Western Conference team. Yes.
Damn it. All right, show me silhouette. This isn't going to help me.
See the silhouette. Let's see it.
It's not going to help me. Uneven shoulder. Oh, he does have uneven shoulders.
He does have uneven
shoulders. That's a big cat. It kind of looks like Shaq. I'd like to solve the puzzle, I guess.
Okay.
I don't feel confident about this, but I'm going to, according to that silhouette, he won titles with the Lakers and he won one with the Heat. Mm-hmm. I feel like his career numbers could have been better, but at the end, he became a journeyman. Mm-hmm. He was fat and sloppy, which would have brought the numbers down.
Not sloppy.
Was that disrespectful?
The disrespect.
I'll go Shaq here.
Let's show him the picture.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go!
That's like 3 in a row. I hate this game and I still nail it. Woo!
Oh my God!
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was about to go Chris Bosh.
Bosh. I ain't gonna lie. He was a guy that I was thinking of too.
And what helped was when you were like, well, the last team he played for, he didn't win.
Yeah.
Because Bosh ended with the Heat. So I was like, oh, it's not all right.
All right.
And then once that was clear for me, because I get real cocky on this game. Even though I suck at it, all of a sudden I'm like, I want to solve the puzzle. And you're like, Travis, you got 3 questions left. And I was about to pull that off with Bosh. And then you were like, no, the last team he was on, he didn't win. Okay, Shaq. Yep. So those career numbers, they're really good, obviously, but they should have been a lot better for him. I mean, the end. Do you have his career?
That's why I didn't want you to ask this last year. But the last year he obviously played here in Boston with the Celtics. He was 38 years old. He averaged 9 points a game. Where's the rebounds at? 4.8 rebounds, 0.4 assists, and a block.
Give me his last couple of years.
So, he had that year he played in Cleveland with Bron.
What were those numbers?
He had 12 points, 6.7 rebounds.
Yeah.
A block still. Shaq was getting a block a game every year. You know what I mean? Because he's Shaq. Then the year before that was the last year he was an All-Star. He was third team All-NBA with the Phoenix Suns. He averaged 17.8 points a game, 8.4 rebounds.
Oh, he was good there. Okay.
And one and a half blocks.
I remember him with the Suns. I don't remember him being good. So that's actually more impressive. So he didn't end as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
That last season.
Those last 2 seasons were
the last 2.
Yeah, because he played 75 games with the Suns. And then with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he played 53 games, averaging those numbers.
And then the
Celtics, he played 37 games, averaging.
So really, his gaslight was on in Phoenix, and he emptied that tank, and then the rest was just cash grabs.
Exactly.
All right, I did pretty good at this.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not gonna lie, you did a good job. There weren't any like Shaq light bulbs in my head.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Right.
It didn't really dawn on me till the end. When I started piecing together, he won the Eastern and Western Conference.
Yep.
That's a short list of people that could do it. And then for once, that damn silhouette actually helped me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was the neck. Can you show the silhouette, Greg? All right. Look at this silhouette. Now, yes, there are uneven shoulders, and we know Shaq is bald, but who is in the NBA?
Right.
What did it? Look at his neck. Do you see in the silhouette how it doesn't really differentiate? It's shoulders, ears.
Yeah.
You see that? It's not, his neck is so damn thick, it's just an extension of his shoulders.
Also, he's so big that like the side of his silhouette is cut off, like the left shoulder. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Cut off. Because he's huge. So, bro, I was like, this silhouette's going to help. And that wasn't even me just cutting it off. That's actually how he looked in the picture. Like, it's cut off.
That ain't nothing but biscuits and gravy right there, man. That's cornbread, all kinds of good eating there.
That's a Southern boy right there.
Shaq, I apologize for calling you fat and sloppy at the end. If I knew it was you, I wouldn't have said that. That was rude of me. I apologize. All right.
Thanks.
Well, listen, you're not going to find games quite like this. But I will also be embarrassing myself on Boston Has Entered the Chat. You can check that out on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content as well. There we talk about Boston sports and pop culture. All right, Tay, what do we got next, my friend?
So next we got to do a preview of the entire NBA over the next couple of episodes. You're going to hear about us and how we feel about every single team in the association.
All right.
We're going to start with the Pacific Division, and then we're going to eventually move out east, hopefully finishing with our champion, Boston Celtics.
Why are we doing the East? You said all those teams suck. We should just do the Celtics and move on, right?
Yeah, we should. But we're starting with the West. So we're starting with the Pacific Division. We're starting with a team that's had a new rebrand, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, jeez.
I got to ask you, how do you feel about the Los Angeles Clippers offseason, Travis?
What kind of question is that? What am I supposed to say? I'm so scared of the Clippers. Kawhi never plays. James Harden can't be counted on. Paul George is gone.
Yep.
I mean, how do I feel? Good for them. They have a new arena that I'll never go to. Like, what do you mean? What am I supposed to feel like? I like their coach. Outside of that, I don't like anything.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm pretty low on this team. I don't know if I'm as low as the sports books are on this team. FanDuel has them at 40.5 as their line this season.
Wow.
After they won 51 games last season. I don't know if Paul George makes that big of a difference.
There could be a gambling opportunity there.
There could be. So, I think this team isn't good. I know that. They're the Clippers. No. They're the B team in Los Angeles, as Paul George said on his podcast. They're not very good. I don't like really what I saw in return for them. It's going to be one of those years where like, man, Derrick Jones is going to have to be big for them. Terrence Mann is going to have to take a huge leap on the offensive end for them.
Yeah.
They're going to need a lot more offense because we know Kawhi's not going to stay healthy.
No.
James Harden is going to get halfway through the season and probably get disinterested with the team.
Right.
As he normally does. And, they really don't have any other guys that are guys to answer after that. So we'll see how they do. I wanted to know, do you think this team is a playoff team?
I don't think so. I mean, listen, in talking this out with you, when you first, what was that win total, 40 and a half? Is that what you said?
Is what
so
FanDuel
essentially
has.
It's a 500 team is what Vegas is telling you. When you first said that, my initial reaction was, okay, I think they're going to be better than 500.
Mm-hmm.
And so it could be a gambling opportunity there. I'm just not going to get involved.
Yeah.
I would probably bet the over.
Yep.
But I'm not going to get involved because, listen, they could be a 500 team.
Yeah.
Like, they could be. The team, I'm really high on out west.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till we preview them so I can talk about them because I don't give a rat's ass about the Clippers. But I am big on the Rockets.
Yeah.
I think the Rockets, forget the future being bright. I think their future is this season.
Is now, yeah.
Yeah, and I correctly predicted the Magic last season, if you remember.
Yep.
I'm off them. Even though I like what they're doing, I'm on the Rockets now. The Rockets are my new love interest where I'm like, they're ready to go here.
Mm-hmm.
They were 500 last season.
Right.
And remember, Tay, because we talked about it, they damn near got into the postseason. They were in that play-in-ville range, remember? So I could see the Clippers kind of being there, but not not with the bright future, but just like I could see the Clippers hanging on, bottom of the barrel-ish of like play-in-ville, and maybe they get in a play-in situation, maybe not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to bet this team. They could absolutely end up 500. To answer your question, I'll say no. They're not a playoff team.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up their future because when I was looking at this team, that's all I could think about,
Yeah.
right? Like, obviously, we know they got to sell tickets. They got to put seats in butts, you know what I mean? I mean, butts and seats. With Steve Ballmer, obviously, paying for that stadium, whatever, privately funded, that's a lot of money, you know what I mean?
Right.
In order, he's got to get a return on his investment, which is why he obviously opted to keep Harden, why he obviously wanted to keep Paul George and Kawhi years ago, hoping that he could keep Paul George in Los Angeles, and that obviously didn't turn out.
He was hoping he had won by now.
This team has to find a way to get draft picks and get young talent that's going to come in. They're shooting their shot at literally every flamed out young player in the league. They brought in Josh Primo. They got Kevin Porter Jr. to come to this team. Kai Jones is now a part of this team.
Yeah.
They're really taking it. Bones Highland, obviously, kind of not flamed out a little bit with the Denver Nuggets, is a part of this team. They're looking for one of these two. I wouldn't even say one. At least two of those guys to turn into good, decent NBA players who have the off-court distractions kind of stop for them and be just great NBA players and figure it out. So they got to figure out a way to figure out this draft situation. But is there any bets other than their win-loss total that you're looking at for this team that you like?
Not a damn one. I wouldn't bet this team with your money and your papers long. I'll say this. Hearing you kind of describe the Clippers situation, like the reality of it, it sounds identical to the Lakers. Now, the Lakers have bigger stars.
Right.
But better star, bigger and better.
Yeah.
Bron and AD are better than anything that these damn Clippers can trot out.
Yeah.
But they are they face sort of the same conundrum of aging stars who keep you relevant, but you're not beating any of those top dogs in your conference, right? So there's no championships there to be had for either LA team as far as I'm concerned. And you gotta be concerned about the future. I mean, the Clippers and the Lakers, future-wise, are a mess.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting time in your old stomping grounds.
It is.
Friend.
I personally do have a bet that I like, and it's Harden leading the league in assists. It's at plus 1,000.
Right. Yeah.
And here's my thing, right? Okay, he was fourth in the NBA in assists last season, right?
Yeah.
You're losing Westbrook, so you're losing a bench player that obviously is a great facilitator and things like that. You're losing Paul George, who also is a good facilitator and creator for the team as well. We know that their bench is going to be like Chris Dunn, Bones Highland. I don't know who they're going to end up, KPJ. One of those three guys are going to end up being their backup point guard.
Yep.
Not all great facilitators, you know what I mean? Mostly guys who can go get their own bucket or, whatever. Just play defense with Chris Dunn. I think that Harden takes this opportunity to try to be like himself in Houston and be a main on-ball guard again and play a lot of minutes, which they're going to need in order to win games. And we know that he's competitive. That's one thing that he's going to do. He will try to win games for his team and will them the wins. So I could see him possibly – I might sprinkle a few dollars. I'm not hard on it, but Harden being the league leader in assists.
Good luck with that bet. This is what I would tell you. The only bet I will ever make in my life again, ever, because I've lost way more money than I want to admit on James Harden's punk ass, is this. If I could bet who will lead the league in VIP section appearances in nightclubs, it would be on James Harden. Maybe I'd sprinkle a little something on Jordan Poole, too. If I could bet on who leads the league in bottle service, it would be James Harden. Other than that, I ain't interested. What's next?
Okay, look, I got to ask you about their rebrand because I know we got to do this really quickly before we talk about the WNBA.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Clippers rebrand? Obviously, these are the new jerseys that I'm showing here on the screen.
Yeah.
They also have a new logo as well, which I'll flash on the screen really quickly.
What is that, a ship?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So no one knew that the Clipper was a ship until this season. So,
all right.
What do you think about this rebrand, Travis?
I mean, I like it better than the team. I remember like when I was growing up, Clippers uniforms were ugly. The team sucked. There was nothing good. And this, at least, is kind of cool. I like all of it. I like the uniform. I like the newer logo with the ship. I kind of dig it. I like the rebrand. I'm sure the new building's going to be off the hook, too. It's just a shame what product they have, on the floor.
I agree. It's dope. All right, let's quickly run over these WNBA topics that we want to talk about. The WNBA is back officially. I just want to know, who do you think will finish higher in the standings?
Okay.
Angel Reese and the Sky or Kaylin Clark and the Fever? They are about half a game apart as we're recording this right now.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I just watched that Sky game. I told you when I got here today, with Cardozo back, and you know how I feel about Angel Reese, Baltimore stand-up, shout-outs. I not only think they're going to finish higher, I think they're going to be a problem in the playoffs. I just think that style. Like, as long as we've been alive watching playoff basketball, you can never, ever go wrong with defense, rebounding, size on the interior, slowing a game down, and just mauling people.
Yep.
And that's what the Sky really offer. I like the Fever. I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. Boston can play. I like what they got going, but it is not that. It's not what I just described.
No.
So I think the Sky not only will get into the postseason and finish higher than the Fever, I think they're going to be a tough out, man. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go on a decent run in the postseason. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit against you, honestly. I think that the Fever are going to end up being a little bit better, and it's just because of this. Basketball has transitioned.
Yeah.
Playoff basketball, yes, like you said, that physical style is going to be a problem for some teams, but the Sky really cannot shoot the three ball. Rachel Banham, who obviously got traded for Marbury, is here and with the Sky now, and she can really shoot the ball. No question about that. But she's the only person on that entire roster that can shoot the ball. I think that this Fever team, Caitlin, is showing that she's gotten better even in the month that she took off from WNBA basketball. She looks more fluid with her jumper, looks more confident. Yeah. That break, it looks like she just got more honed in and focused. I'm going to take the Fever to be the better team out of the two, but I think both of them are getting bounced in the first round.
Well, I'll tell you this. If the Connecticut Sun can figure out a way to avoid the Liberty in the postseason, I think they could go to the championship. But if they have to play the Liberty, all bets are off. But keep your eye on the Connecticut Sun. Ante, as always, we appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir.
We'll bring you back next show. We'll continue to preview NBA teams, and you can have these games that make me look like an idiot. I appreciate you. Even when I get it right, I still feel like I just embarrass myself every time. Look, I want to end here with a player I covered when he was in high school. Markelle Fultz, I notice, is still a free agent, and it's kind of baffling to me. We all know the story. He was the number 1 pick by the Sixers. We know how that ended. But I'm looking at him now, and I'm like, well, this is a guy who's proven he can play. Now he's proven he can play in this league. Has some injury issues, but if one of these contenders sign him, you can get him on the cheap now, bring him off your bench. What difference does it make? I mean, he'll stay healthy then. There's no pressure on him. He can come off your bench. I think the kid can ball. He's at that age. He's in his prime right now. Keep your eye on one of these contenders getting Markelle Fultz. It will be a problem. I wish the Celtics could afford anything. I don't know if they can afford a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich at this point, all the money they're doling out. But if Markelle Fultz hasn't burned bridges in Philly, the Sixers could use him. The Bucks could use him. There's a ton of Eastern Conference contenders that could use him. I hope, for the Celtics' sake, he ends up out west somewhere. I think he's a good player. Someone should go get him. All right, that's it for us here on Hold My Banner. For Travis Thomas and Ante Campbell, we'll see you next time when we ask you to hold the banner again. Peace.